Hey, we're live.
Hey,
how you doing, Dave?
Live. I'm very well, Jason. How are yourself, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm just going to make sure that everything's
How's everyone out
like
on Facebook and YouTube land?
Yeah, sorry for being a minute or so late. We just had some technical glitches that we worked our way through. So, oh yes, it's popping up on Facebook now. Oh, sorry, on YouTube now, rather. So that's a good thing.
I'm just wondering why I keep waving at the camera every time I say, because it's not like they're going to. Well, they might wave back. I hope they wave back.
They might well. So, welcome to those of you who got in early and are here right now. I'm waiting for Facebook to come up with its little pop-up telling me that we're live, but I haven't seen it yet. So, just wait for our good folks on. Oh, here you go. No, it's telling me yes, it's starting or started. Let's see. What do we got here?
It's always a bit behind.
We're live on Facebook now, I believe. Yes, there we are. I can see us on Facebook. And hello to all of you around the world. As you know, we have Vernon Reid coming up in just a second, which we're very excited about. Vernon worked very hard to get himself prepared for this morning. Just is in computer world, you know what it's like. And he's sitting in the wings waiting, so I don't want to make him sit there and wait, but I will just do a little intro. So of all of the live shows that we are going to do here on live streams with famous friends, this is the dude who I got a couple of super close, but Vernon and I just talk all the time, and you're going to get Vernon on a level that you maybe don't expect because you're used to interview style, but this is just a couple of friends talking shit and having fun, and that's kind of the way him and I relate to each other and have a great time. We go back to 2006 when we very first met. I have a longer history as being a huge Living Colour fan. And so it was kind of a surreal experience to become friends with him. I guess it's kind of like when he became friends with Mick Jagger. You have your levels of things that come into your life, and it's a really cool feeling. And he calls me sometimes. I call him probably more than what he calls me because he's busy. But the point is, having him as a friend actually means a lot to me. It's a really special and a magical friendship that I have with the dude. So I feel very honored to have that. And he's probably sitting there going, "Oh, shucks, shut up," but because he can hear me. But I just wanted to do the little intro. And one other quick bit of housekeeping before we get in. There is no pressure on this whatsoever, all right? But I just have to get this out of the way. A lot of people do Patreon accounts. They also do super chats where you pay to do your questions. I'm not doing that. If you look in the link of the description of these videos, you will see there is a PayPal link which you can choose to donate. And as I write on there, no super chats, which means you're not obligated to pay. No Patreon, which means no monthly subscription to watching me, and no obligation. Because I know some people out there in the culture of the YouTube streams, they love to donate to the shows. If people want to, there's an option there. But again, no obligation. I'm just letting you know it's there. And also, depending on how we go for time here, we might even let a couple of you jump into the show like we did yesterday with Jem Majura and with Thomas. And we might let a couple of people come in and say hi and ask their question face to face. So be ready. And if you want to do that, I'll need to send you the link through a Facebook Messenger message. Dave, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
You're a pretty big Living Colour fan too, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
When you sort of, for me, it was, mate, I heard Cult of Personality like we all did, massive single here in New Zealand. Fell in love with it, but didn't actually get to buy my first album till Stain came out. And that's just been, oh, wow.
Yeah, but mind you, I mean, you were born in what year?
77.
And so you were 15 when Stain came out.
I was. It was.
Well, it makes sense. It's good timing.
Yeah, it's a great album, and I have some questions for Vernon in regards to at least one of the songs that's on there. But we'll get to that if it gets to it.
Well, instead of making him wait around, let's just pull the man in. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I give you from Living Colour, Mr. Vernon Reid. And there he is. Woohoo!
Drum roll, blah blah.
How you doing, mate?
I heard you telling those lies.
See, you've already lifted the veil straight away on making a comment like that.
So are you broadcasting from New Zealand?
I am, yes. So
I want to just a quick shout out to my friend Jonathan Crayford, a great piano player and composer, and I want to shout out to Curly's Jewels, the band. Curly's Jewels, a great band. They opened for us when we were last down there. I want to give them a shout out. They're a great band.
I'll make sure we throw the band to everyone too.
And they're good guys.
Cool.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Jelly.
Good peoples. You got to love that.
I said guys with Jelly, the female lead singer. She's great. They're a great bunch of people. So that's that.
There we go. Well, the people are excited to see you here. We're already getting like, can you see the chats on the side, Vernon?
Can I see the chats
on the right side of the screen? Like
on
Joe
right.
M. This is a bit of excitement. Can you see that? Yay! He's a bit excited.
I saw the year. I see the year now.
Yeah, there you go.
Looking in the wrong direction.
We got the woohoo, howdy guys from Mickey Settlemire. G'day, Mickey. We got Remco up in Queensland, in my homeland. You've been up. Actually, you were up there not long ago. You had Simon out there as your tech, and he came up to Queensland with you.
I know.
Well,
Something like Simon Cott, the guitar tech supreme.
I got to find out why the hell he's not on the show. I'm gonna have to message and say, "Oi, Cotter, where the hell are you?"
He should be a guest. He should be a guest on the show. He's a good dude.
He's a fantastic dude.
And you turned me on to him. He's a good guy. Great guy.
You're welcome. No problem. So, Dave, look, jump in with your Stain question. You know, we don't really have an agenda here. We're just hanging out and chatting. So, you know.
Well, I suppose, okay, throw us in the deep end. Love it.
Why
not? So, Stain, obviously, great album, amazing album. But what I loved was the song that I believe Will wrote, Nothingness.
Nothingness, yeah.
And how you threw that together and went, oh, yeah, instead of, belting it as a guitar tune, you play it on your guitar, but you obviously using all your synths and that sort of stuff.
Guitar synth, yeah, I did a whole thing with guitar.
What made you sort of throw it that way? What made you go, you know what, I'll throw that towards the synth more than playing it on a guitar as a more of a traditional guitar?
I thought I've been into guitar synthesis for a really long time. I'm still into it. And I thought it was an opportunity to have a completely different sound palette, because the song is such a moody song and it's so kind of epic.
Yeah,
that I thought it would be kind of interesting to use those kind of sounds with the song, and it was just like, let's check it out, and it worked out really well with that song. But that's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
and it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, mine too.
We don't play it nearly enough, as Will would attest to.
Well, of course. And I really love the piano version of just him and Corey doing that as well. Magic. So maybe not everybody knows, I'm not sure, that Will actually played the piano on that version. He's quite a good pianist, isn't he?
He'll love hearing
that. Well, he is. I mean, he did a great job of that. I would love to actually see him and Corey playing that live on a stage somewhere with a grand. That'd just be magic.
It'd be fun.
It would be very, very nice. Now, let me see here. I know that he's out there. I'm just waiting for his next message, if it's there, to pop up. Oh, hang on. Here it is. Hang on. There it is right there. That is Simon right there. Educated Tone is our buddy Simon.
Hey! Oh, good for you.
Finally bought a Helix.
Great. Yeah. I've been working with the Line 6, the Helix platform, and I'm enjoying it. I work with a number of different, me, I've been working with different pedals and sound things, and I've been really enjoying it because it's also a great command center. You can control a lot of other devices with it. So, like, I also use Kemper stuff and use Boss stuff. But the thing about the Helix is that I can incorporate those things, and I can use it to control as a single unit. I can use it to control, virtual stuff and all like that. So it's pretty cool what they're doing over at Line 6.
That's really cool. So obviously your live shows, you're running your modeler and you're running live amps. Would you ever just go straight to a modeler and run in ears and just do it that way, or do you love that sort of the sonic that comes out of what you get from the camp?
I guess that's what I'm used to is it's a combination of things, but because we came from like playing at places like CBGB's and just hearing the amp like behind me with Will and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm sort of used to that more than having it in ears or all the sound coming to me from the monitors. It's just what I'm used to. I mean, it's totally cool to do that.
Yeah.
But I still like the sound of tube amps and I've been using Boogie for a long time, and starting using some Super stuff from Super too. That's cool. This is cool.
And there's definitely something about having the amp behind you and just vibrating away and creating that ear movement behind you, which it does creates a little bit different of a feeling.
There's nothing is wrong. You do what you do.
Absolutely. Well, you know,
That's
I'm a drummer by
100% true.
trade, so I've gone from playing an acoustic drum kit all the time to going straight electric all the time, but running a little PA behind me, sort of pushing where the drums traditionally come from.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's gone that kind of way for myself. I still have the acoustic kit, Jason. Don't look so shocked.
He's got a beautiful drum kit. Like we played. So Vernon, Dave and I played in a band together. In fact, actually, you met him in 2006 briefly on that tour that you guys did when we first met.
It may have been very brief.
Crazy Australian scenario.
Yes, that crazy experience.
That was.
I know.
We had say no more. Say no more.
For those of you who don't know, that's why Vernon and I and me and all the guys in Living Colour. No, I'm not gonna go down the well.
Okay.
That's why we're so close, because we went through hell on that tour, but like we came out the other side and we're like family now. So we look alike, don't we?
Bonding experiences. Definitely one of those things. You come out changed.
The funny thing is they don't really know all the stories, but if they did, boy, we don't need to tell them here.
I forgot to bring the drum head that Will signed in for me to sort of chuck in the background, but that's all right. I'll save that for another day. I've got.
Yeah, I actually took I took Dave out when you guys were out there. There was, because you did the 3 shows in a row in Melbourne and then one in Sydney that tour. I think on the third night in Melbourne, I took Will out just a couple of doors up, ironically enough, to a Japanese restaurant, and I was like, dude, can I invite the drummer that I play in my band with? He's a big fan and he'd love to see you. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And so Will, Dave, and myself sat down for like 2 hours or maybe even more in a Japanese restaurant, and Will can tell a story, man. Like, like you.
Yeah. His embellishments are quite entertaining.
Now, okay, so I wanted to get into this at some stage, so I might as well do it right now, because keep in mind, this isn't just you and I talking shit like we normally do on the phone. This is an interview kind of thing with people watching.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into the history of your relationships with the guys in Living Colour. Which member of the band did you meet first?
Corey Glover.
And when and how did that come about?
Funny. That's weird.
Because it might even be Muzz for all I know.
Will reminded me that we met at the Bottom Line at a show, and I was like, "Wow!" And back in the '80s, and but the first person I met was Corey through my middle sister, who made me go with her to a party because I'd been on the road with Ronald Shannon Jackson. And she was like, "You never do anything with me. You're going to come with me to this party." And a friend of hers had been dating Corey, and when it was the girl's birthday, and when it came time to sing "Happy Birthday," Corey was the only one that sang. He said, "Get Corey." And Corey came out.
Wow!
And it was the only birthday party I've been to where it was filled with people, and only one person sang it. And when he sang it, I said, "Man, this cat's got a cool voice." And that was, and I took his number. And then one thing led to another thing, led to another thing, led to another thing, and I called him up because I started a kind of a power trio, and it was just about to become Living Colour. And when Corey entered the band, that's when it shifted and became Living Colour.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it was originally Greg Carter on drums and Alex Mosley on bass, and people may know Alex Mosley because if anyone remembers the band Lisa and the Cult Jam, he was Spanador in Lisa and the Cult Jam.
It's an interesting bunch of names. I honestly don't know who that is, but
ancient history.
It's kind of cool though. So then the next person that you met was which guy?
Well, it's funny. Well, it was Corey, and then it was different bass player and a different drummer, and we went through a thing where the bass player and the drummer got picked off by Steve Winwood. They joined Steve Winwood's band.
Not a bad score.
Yeah, and And I reached out to Zach Alford, and
know who that is.
great drummer. He played with Bob Dylan. He's done a lot of different things, and I'd seen Zach, knew him from downtown, and then he was like, "Man, I can't do it." He had just started playing with the B-52s. He just got a gig with the B-52s, and he said, "Man, I just started with the 52s, and well, you should call my friend from Berkeley, Will Calhoun. He's a great drummer." And Zach gave me Will's number, and I called him and I said, "Hey man, I got this thing," and we wound up doing this gig. The first gig we did this gig in Hoboken, and it kind of started from there. And then the next person was Mud Skillings, and that was kind of interesting because there have been a couple of different bass players that have come through, and it was kind of like a bit of a revolving chair. And then a mutual friend of ours said, "Hey man, you should check out my friend Muzz," and that's basically, we got together and we had a rehearsal, and it just kind of happened from there.
He was a monster player. Look,
He still is.
if this is, I'm sure he is. If this is too difficult, don't do it. But we're getting a lot of weird hiss from your mic. Do you happen to have even like a set of earbuds like that you can plug into your Mac close by or not? We're just getting a lot of really weird hiss noise. That's all.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can do anything that will help with that. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's still got a little bit of hiss, mate, but
Still got it? Still getting it?
Yeah, like, see, Dave and I are both going through sound cards and stuff with other mics, and unfortunately, it just happens sometimes with room mics.
The
on the
difference
Mac.
between
right.
us and you, Vern, is we had the
I
time
can
to
put
set
on-
ourselves up.
I could put on headphones.
It might help. You never know.
Well, let's see. Let's see.
It's more that like it's doing like a weird hiss ambience in the room.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, I will. You know what, Vernon? I'll let you set that up, and I'll just give them an announcement about something I was going to do later anyway. While you're just finding a mic or whatever, I'll actually mute. I'll mute your mic channel, and when you're ready, just give us a thumbs up, and I'll unmute your mic channel for you. All right. So while Vernon's muted, I have a bit of an announcement. I have been reaching out to some of my famous friends to do this series, and we got a big announcement coming. Oh, he's back. How's that?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, yeah, but the noise is still there. I don't know. It's the mic. You don't have a sound card hooked up to that computer with a separate mic or anything? That's a pain in the ass to do.
Let me see if I can. Okay, so
I'll mute you again, so I'll let you do your thing in private, and when you're ready, just give me a thumb and I'll put you back in.
Okay.
So the announcement I have is that this is very, very exciting. A band, here you go. Let's see if you can guess this one, Dave. And I'll even let the people in the comments see if they can guess it. A band who have 1.3 million followers on Facebook, and on their Instagram they have 235,000, but on Facebook they're hugely popular, like 1.3 million. That's pretty bloody big.
It's pretty big.
Although I did look up Queen today because my son asked me, what about Queen? 28 million for Queen, which is nuts, but I love Queen, as most people who know me know.
You know, history and
It's
stuff
Queen,
that they've got.
exactly. But let's say their sibling.
Sibling, okay, Jason, you're pausing on me again, so he's...
Oh, sorry.
There he is, he's back again.
So the drummer is the brother of the two, but the other member, who is the singer, is not a dude.
The other brother?
No, the other member, who is the other sibling of the band, is not a guy.
Yep.
It's a female.
It is.
It's a female lead singer and a drummer brother.
We're talking Hailstorm.
We are talking Hailstorm, folks. RJ Hale, I should say, not AJ. RJ Hale got back to me today. And he's like, dude, I'm bunkered down. I would love to be on the show. This will be so much fun. Actually, he said, I would love to be on your show.
What a monster drummer. So
I've got to
fantastic.
organise the
That's cool.
time with him, so we are going to have a show with RJ at least. And I asked him if he can get Lizzie to come on the show too, which we'll see if we can get both of them together. That would be so cool to chat to the two of them together.
Double trouble. That'd be brilliant.
That'd be great. So there's another
mate.
fun, famous friends coming up.
Here comes a list of questions for RJ. That's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. So let's check back in with Vernon and see how he's doing. How's it going there, Professor?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We've still got the same noise. Look, it's not the end of the world.
It's
We'll
all
get
good,
through.
mate.
I'm just trying to clear it up a bit if we can.
So what is the so there's probably something. I hear exactly the buzz you were talking about, like, really loudly now.
Yeah, it's like a compression thing going on.
So mics.
I did just get a feedback comment on my Facebook watch party that I've shared, which says the sound isn't too bad for me on the listener end. It's pretty minor. So there you go. So if they can hear it clearly enough, well, then we're cool. So thank you, Theo Goslett, for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. It's still clear.
You can hear me all right? All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like machine noise that's not actually going out to the stream.
Maybe. I don't know. I can hear it. But anyway, it's all good. We'll get through.
Okay, we're all hearing it, so it's got to be going out. Yeah.
Now, the next question in the timeline of the band is when did Muzz actually decide to bail from the band, and what was going on there, and then of course getting the mighty machine that is Doug Wimbish?
It's probably more. We worked. We spent a long time together, and at a certain point, some of the relationships within the band started to fray as it happened. And since I kind of don't want to tell tales out of school.
Yeah, sure.
But,
I'm not trying to go for gossip here. I'm just trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's really painful period for the band, and that was not a great day, and it was. I could sugarcoat it, but it was not great.
No, fair enough.
And we were kind of at loose ends a bit. When Muzz left, and we were thinking about bass players. We had started auditioning bass players, and we all knew Doug, and we all loved Doug. So it was kind of like let's give Doug a call and see if it worked. There was some intriguing. There was some intriguing people that came through. One of the people that auditioned was Michelle and Dave Burch.
Wow.
Yeah. That would have, interesting. There were a lot of interesting things. The road's not taken. But I think we made the right choice. And Doug kept brought a whole kind of wild approach and sound palette.
You just got to listen to the intro to Wall, and it just says Wimbish in the house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Which was incredible. I mean, and it's been so long of you guys together. I mean, obviously there was a break, but whatever. But man, when I heard that you guys had come back together and you'd started touring, I was like, yes, because I hadn't met you guys yet before you had reformed. Yeah, and right. But I actually did. Let me see if I've got it here. You know what? I'll find this in the background while we're chatting. Actually, hang on. Maybe it's right here. No, I found the other day. And I don't know where I've put it right now. It'll take me too long to find it potentially. I found the other day my actual a scan that I took of my concert ticket when I first saw you guys at the Theberton Theatre in Adelaide, my hometown, in 1993 on the Stain tour. And I went with D. You know D.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know who D is that I'm referring to, Australians would know that is D from the band Test Eagles, the bass player. And D was with me. I called him up. I was like, dude, come over. Living Colour here. We're going to help out Vernon and the guys on the tour. Just get your ass over to Melbourne immediately. He was back home in Adelaide, in our hometown. and he flew out, and so he's been really good friends with Vernon over the years. And when I went to Dubai in 2012 with this guy, D came out as our bass player.
Oh, cool.
So
it was wicked. What a genuinely great dude. It was great to sort of get on stage and belt out tunes with a bass player as talented as he is, and mate, what a lovely voice he's got too. So
he can sing.
He can sing.
So yeah,
which
so
I
there's a
shouldn't be
nice
allowed a microphone at all, to be honest, because vocally I sound like a cat being throttled on a good day.
Full of compliments on himself there.
Of course, always.
So there we go from Doug enters the band. Living Colour comes to Australia, 93. And then, it was just history from there. But for me, I first saw you guys. I might have told you a little bit of this story, but I haven't actually told you the full story. I saw Cult of Personality in, I think it was 87. Was that when Cult of Personality video was released, 87?
It was 88.
88, sorry. Yeah, it was around there. 88, I saw it on a television show that was like a music show that started at midnight, and they played it as like the new breakout song. And I mean, being in Australia, of course, we don't have the same kind of like black dudes versus white dudes and whatever. We just don't care. As long as you're cool, you're cool. You know, we never had that history like America did. And I just saw the band and was like, this band speaks to me. As soon as I heard that riff, I was just like, what is this? And then Corey's voice and those big drums and just the grooves and the way you guys are all jumping around, and Corey's in his wetsuit and hair flying everywhere. And then you just blister the living shit out of that guitar solo. And the next day, my brother and I think you've met Troy in Adelaide before. I know a couple of the guys did. My brother and I went to a local music store in Adelaide called CC Records, which was a big thing in our hometown. And we were friends with the manager there. So I was 88, I was 16. And we were helping him to set up a display for some promotion they had on at the time. And the payment that he gave us was he gave us 2 records each. And I said, I worked my ass off that day, by the way. It was like slave labor, the amount of shit that we did just for 2 records each. And Vivid was one of those 2 records that I got. And I took it home and I listened to the whole album, and I was just like, man. And the thing that struck me was that, like, I'm from an area in Adelaide called Christie Downs. I always say Christie's Beach because it sounds better. But Christie Downs is kind of like a shithole, basically. It's not like the same as the projects in New York, but it's certainly not like upper class by any stretch. We didn't live stacked up on top of each other. It was a fairly small neighborhood, but I could relate to it because even though I'm white, I'm from Australia, I could relate to the fact that it was talking about people from an area where they weren't just given everything and they had to struggle for what they got. And it was kind of funny that this black band from New York really spoke to me. And I've never told you all this before. Even in all the times that we talk, God knows how many hours. If we could add up the amount of hours you and I have spoken on the phone, geez, it would be ludicrous. But that really set me on a path with you guys, and I remained a fan. And I bought Time's Up literally the day it came out. And I remember I actually bought it on cassette because I had a cassette Walkman with me, and then I went and bought it on CD a couple of days later because I wanted to listen to it the day that I bought it. And then when Stain came out, D and I went to the concert together and saw you guys, and it was like, I mean, you know me, I'm not a church dude, but it was like literally having a religious experience going to see you guys in that venue, and the vibe and the energy in the room. It was just so, yeah, man. I have a big history of you before I even got to know you.
Yeah, those are special. Those shows in the early 90s are really, really special.
Well, you really, I mean, it's funny, in all the times that we've spoken, I've never shared this with you, but man, that's how much of an influence you and your band were on me. It really spoke to me.
Yeah, it's weird then, because when bands from different areas, you know, think about a classic band like AC/DC, you know what I mean, the obvious, that's really obvious, but also like a band like Midnight Oil. You know, I remember I saw Midnight Oil. They came to the States, and I'd never heard of them before. They played at the Ritz on downtown on 11th Street, and they'd already had, 9 or 10 albums of material. So when they showed up, they were playing, they played stuff from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's such a good album.
And it's crazy. And I remember being floored by that band, and I'd never heard of them before. And a lot of things that they talk about the struggle between the Aborigines and the Anglos there in Australia, and and a lot of stuff is very specific for them. And then they broke out with Diesel and Dust, and then they became world famous. But I remember they had song like Arctic World. It's a very specific in terms of the content, but I love that song. There's something about it, and that's something about melodies and harmonies and music that just can crack all the way through. And it doesn't matter if you know the context; you just feel it. So it goes both ways.
Totally. That's interesting to hear that perspective. Actually, it's very cool to hear, and it's nice that you enjoy some Australian music too, and you really know your Midnight Oil catalog now. Obviously, we got a comment here from Joe. Oh, this is my buddy Joe, who's just across the river from you in New Jersey. One of the best times I saw Living Colour was in New York City, and you guys brought up the Sugar Hill Gang. Now, didn't Doug play in the Sugar Hill Gang originally?
Doug was definitely part of the house band for Sugar Hill Records. Nice. Oh yeah, so he was there at the very start of hip hop. He played, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, the Sugar Hill Gang, that was crazy. It was wild. Doug played on so many early hip hop records. I played on the first Public Enemy record, Yo Bum Rush the Show. So there's a lot of history with that music. But Doug really played with it. Played on White Lines.
Which is such a great tune. And Duran did a great cover of that too. I really like their cover of that song. Yeah. Joe then went on to say, I would love to see Mistaken Identity Part 2.
Oh, yeah. From my solo record, my first record. That's my first record away from Living Colour. And interestingly enough, I'm as a solo artist, I'm signed to Mascot. And so I'm going to be making another solo record, and I'm thinking that there's going to be some influence from Mistaken Identity. I think it's kind of really relevant now in a way.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be awesome. So, look, talking about your solo stuff, if you could put together, the ultimate band to do your solo show with, who would be in it? Who would be there? Alive, dead, doesn't matter. Let's chuck some names in there.
Alive or dead? Oh my God, that's always creepy.
We'll stick with alive.
Yeah.
I'll have Beethoven on keyboards, thanks.
You know what I mean? Just calling out, the corpse of John Bonham.
Oh, nice choice.
No, I mean, there are a lot of living people that I think are really special. A lot of interesting. I've just gotten to meet so many cool players from all different sides and all different genres. It's very interesting to see where it's going musically. It's really, really trippy. I actually was speaking to. Actually, I wasn't speaking to him. I was texting. I called it speaking. I didn't speak about texting.
Nowadays, it's technically speaking, isn't it?
Yeah, but I hadn't talked to DeAnthony Parks in a really long time. And DeAnthony is a drummer. He used to play in the band I had with DJ Logic, the Yohimbi Brothers. And he went on to play with the Mars Volta, and now he's doing this kind of whole solo thing. And I just reached out to him. And I thought, man, I would love to do a track with him and maybe Felix Pastorius, Jaco Pastorius' son. I've gotten to know him. He's a fantastic player, and he's fantastic because he's not a clone of his father at all. He's very, he's his own man, And I think about people, that I've worked with over the years, and people I'd like to play with. It's very interesting. And now you can reach out to folks and communicate with them. It's an interesting time period.
Absolutely.
Certainly is. All right. Well, before we get too far away from the solo material, we also have Richard Henry has come in here and said, can you ask Vernon about his album Mask, which has such an interesting album cover? We'll get to that in a sec. And also Spectrum Road, love all these albums, showed different sides of his playing and songwriting. And I actually have to say, shamefully, I listened to Mask for the first time last night.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like, I'm such a huge. This is just my thing. Even like say Dream Theater, who I love too. I don't really listen to the solo albums as much and whatever. For me, I have that vibe. I'm going to get the expression wrong because I was trying to remember what the expression was this morning. For me, it's like the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Is that the right expression?
Yep.
And like put all of you guys together, and it just blows my mind what Living Colour as a band still does. And by the way, if anybody out there hasn't seen Living Colour live, when touring resumes and these guys get out, go to a show. Even if you have to quit your job, well, no, maybe don't quit your job, but just go to a show. A Living Colour show is like a visceral experience. Like your senses will just be on overload. It's so cool. So when I listen to this, and you know, I know when you go in and play your Cult of Personality solo, what have you, you just go to town. But when I listen to this and I listen to The Game Is Rigged, which I'm going to play right now if it comes through,
right.
You guys can hear this, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, the man. Hey.
So when I listen to this and this riff comes in, or the shred, it's like you went progressive all of a sudden. And I know you to improvise your solos a lot, even live, but this is so structured and so on point. I think it's a side of you that maybe people who don't listen to your solo stuff are aware that you necessarily do, because I'm used to you just going to town. So I have a question about this part here.
Oh, that's Leon.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that you on a guitar synth, or is that actually another player?
No, that's Leon. That's Leon Gruenbaum. My keyboard player I played with for many years. Really, he's the keyboard player on all my solo records. Is Leon Gruenbaum, and he also invented his own instrument, the Sam Chilean tip cheapie, and it actually entered into
what?
The Sam Chilean tip cheapie. It's basically a split. He turned a split keyboard into an instrument, and he can explain it much better than I can. But it actually entered the Grove Dictionary of Musical Instruments, I think 2 years ago. It got recognized. Yeah, and there are a few Sam Chileanists. There's not a lot of them because but they exist.
What a
the
name.
Sam Chilean. A few Sam Chileanists exist out here. Yeah,
I'm just imagining a bunch of chitlins lined up.
He's also like a math guy.
So he's a force of nature all unto himself.
Yeah, he's really Leon is out the box. Yeah, I love him. He's fantastic.
We got a very, very, very funny and comical comment here. So a gentleman in Queensland. Oh, wow. Yo, Otani. Hey, you going, mate? Wow, we got a great Japanese guitar player in the house. A really, really cool Japanese guitar player. He's watching on my Facebook watch party right now. So quick shout out to Yo. We have another gentleman watching in Queensland who... well, actually, we have a couple of gentlemen in Queensland. One in particular, Doug De Jong. Remco asks the question, ask Vernon why he logged Doug De Jong out of his hotel room during the Tom Morello camp.
What? I did what? Why he logged Doug out of his hotel room? I locked. Oh yeah. I remember that. That was ridiculous.
Doug De Jong log in.
Oh yeah. I totally remember that.
I'm gonna make this really fun. Doug, log into Facebook. Actually, no, Doug, I'm gonna send you a link. All right, I'm gonna send you a link on Facebook, and you're gonna come on the show right now and have a chat to Vernon. This is gonna be a bit of fun. So let me just quickly send him the link. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing. Oh my God, that was.
I should have actually had him waiting in the wings, just have him ready there, but I didn't think to do that earlier.
That was a funny, weird. Yeah, one of those. Oops.
Well, Doug will be here in a minute, so let's go to somebody else's question,
Yeah.
then we'll jump back. So
Sure.
Thomas Mancini, who is in Europe, I forget where. So thank you for staying up late. No, Thomas.
He's in,
I can't remember.
No, Portugal.
Portugal, that's right. Yes, sorry, Portugal. He says, "Good evening, people. I would love to know more about recordings with Jack Bruce. More Jack than God. Interesting.
Oh, more Jack than God. Yeah, that was I think the second Quicoland Express record, and these are records that solo records that Jack Bruce was doing. He did them in the early 2000s, and I believe we were recording at Sorcerer Studios downtown, if I'm not mistaken, and that band included the late great Bernie Worrell on keyboards. And El Negro Hernandez on
I've heard
drums,
that name before.
and Robbie Amin on drums. There's two drummers in the band, and Richie Flores, amazing conguero on congas, and myself and Jack. And that was a great project, and I got to play. We played White Room. We played his solo music, but we played Theme for an Imaginary Western.
I'm just envisioning you playing White Room. That would be so good.
It was a great time, and I miss Jack a lot. I mean, Jack. Okay, imagine you're a kid and you hear "Sunshine of Your Love" comes on the radio, and that somehow or other, in the course of life, the universe weirdly arranges it for you to wind up playing the riff, "The Sunshine of Your Love," with Jack Bruce.
Mate, stars align for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something I just and Living Color, we recorded a version of it. We recorded our own version of it
for the True Lies soundtrack.
Yeah, and that was great. We worked with Michael Beinhorn, was a producer on that, and that was
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was a great time. But working with Jack on the solo records, and then being on the bus with Jack and just having him talk about what it was like to be around Jimi Hendrix, what it was like, the early days of rock and roll. The early days, not the early days of rock, but the early days of his career in rock in the 60s, and how he told me that, a lot of the Motown people had come over to England. And he told me the story, and he said that Marvin Gaye wanted to start a band. Marvin Gaye wanted to start a band, and he wanted Jack Bruce to play in his band. It's just like totally mind-blowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, imagine, and I think he wanted to start a rocking band, and Jack was like, well, that was just when Cream was starting, and turning down Marvin Gaye was one of the most agonizing things in his life, because he loved Marvin Gaye, but he had to do it for Cream to happen, and so hearing those stories was kind of incredible.
Well, history's certainly shown that was a smart idea, really.
It's incredible. And then talking to him about Tony Williams, one of the reasons that Jack Bruce is such a influential and great musician was that he was one of the rock musicians that was also a jazz musician. He was also a jazz musician, and he was also a classical musician. And he played with Carla Bley. He played with the classical composer Carla Bley. And he played on this iconic record, Escalator Over the Hill. He played with Tony Williams' Lifetime, Turn It Over, the record Turn It Over. And then I was talking to him about Tony Williams, and I thought it would be interesting to do something with him and John Medeski and Cindy Blackman, and it happened, and we came together at Spectrum Road. It was incredible that it even happened, because everybody's schedule was so crazy and so busy. but it was just like the spirit of the music. Somehow or other, we were able to make that record, the Spectrum Road record, and that was just really a fantastic thing.
That's awesome. Cindy's an amazing drummer too.
Cindy is fantastic. Cindy is great, and Cindy's great drummer. She's a great person. She's a really very cool person. And John too, and, you know, and that's it, right? When the musician is also, it comes out of them being not a toward necessary, you know, because you can be an a-hole and be a fantastic musician. Being, you know, that doesn't matter. You know, and sometimes music is the best part of a person. It's like everything else can be absolutely a train wreck. But when they sit behind the keyboards, or they put on the guitar, or they pick up the trumpet, or whatever they do, or when they start to sing, that's the best thing you're gonna ever get from them. Yeah. And people get caught up. Then when they meet this person that does this amazing, beautiful thing, and they're not an amazing, beautiful person, that can be a trip. But when the person, the personality, and you know, the music they make matches up, it's incredible. And there's a few people that I know, you know, like I give a shout out to like my man Alex Skolnick from Testament. Like Alex Skolnick is a beast as a guitar player. He's a beast, but he's a fucking great dude. Like,
yes, he is.
Really kind, really good person.
I've been friends with Alex for about 6 years now too, and I can attest to that as well. He's a really nice dude, and he's very generous with his time and everything as well. He's going to be on the show soon as well, so he's coming up sometime.
Yeah, man, I have a huge amount of affection for him. He's great. Nuno Betancourt, I'm gonna shout him out. He's a cool dude. I mean, you know, he's a cool dude. You know, there are people just like that. My man Chris Haskett, Head in the Basket, you know, from the Rollins band. You know, he's one of my brothers. I don't even get a chance to see him, but you know, we toured Lollapalooza together, and you know, he's a phenomenal person. You know, and on and on and on. You know, like the folks that come through that are, wow, you know, that are amazing. The guitar player from KMFDM, Andy Blacksugar, he's a beast. He's ridiculous, and he's also one of the nicest people in the scrimmage.
Very cool. Here you go. Here's a nice one for you. DeWitt was at the very first Living Colour gig at CBGB's.
Was the very first Living Colour gig the first?
No, he was there. Sorry. Was the very first? Sorry, he wasn't there. My mistake. But was the very first one at CBGB's is what he's asking. Sorry. I
would say the very first Living Colour gig, because Living Colour, it's a complicated history, you know, because at one point it was just a trio. But the very first Living Colour gig with the band that you know was at CBGB's. That's for sure. The very first Living Colour gig, it was either at the 55 Bar or Tramp. No, but the very first Living Colour gig in a way was at CBGB's. But the very first Living Colour gig of the band that everybody knows from Vivid was definitely at CBGB.
Nice. Maybe that's the one he's referring to. Caleb Rappaport, Nerd Healing in the house, has a comment here. The song Broken Hearts, I listened to it on repeat. Fantastic bass solo on the beautiful melodic guitar. Into a beautiful melodic guitar solo. Such a beauty, Vernon. So, talk some about that track. It really got me.
Well, you know, this was a time period of the band. We were rehearsing. We had a loft in Bushwick, Brooklyn. And it was kind of like our laboratory to try things. Just to try things out. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I'm not going to get into it, but we broke up, and I felt terrible about it, you know, really bad about it, and so the lyrics, you know, I was writing the lyrics because of this breakup, and then the music of it, I thought, you know what, I want to do something different. And I said, let's do something that's got a country vibe, but got hip hop drums. And, you know, it's so funny because Old Town Road is like was like the biggest song of last year. And it's funny to me because I was like, oh man, we did a kind of Old Town Road like 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Because Broken Ice and was like, yo, put a beat to this. And then the icing on the cake was that Mick Jagger played harmonica on that tune. Yeah, it was really nice.
Not a bad man to step in on an instrument for you.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
So Caleb Rappaport, who I've put the comment up from, is actually doing a Van Halen tribute band with a twist in Los Angeles. They're actually dressing up as nerds, and they are called Nerd Halen. So they do a really fun, nerdy version of the show. So
yeah, man. Well, you know, we're it's so funny because, well, all right, it's funny because you're talking about this gig, you know, how he does it, and part of the thing that's you know, we haven't talked about current events, but yeah, it's crazy to think about all the plans and all the things that have been thrown out the window. You know what I mean? Because of the current worldwide situation that we're in. It's crazy.
Well, that's why I'm doing this show, to try and give people something positive from the musicians of the world. And thank you for coming and doing this for the people out there too, Vernon. I mean, I can call you anytime, but they don't get this.
You so wheedled and needled me into doing this. So don't.
That sounds like Jason.
Okay, I'm not gonna let that go. You can't.
That's it. Hats off. All right. Hats off, Reid.
And needled me to the He wheedled and needled. Said, you gonna do my show? I said, well, I don't know. You're gonna do my show, man.
You know what? I'm. That's it. We're going to the mattresses now, fella. Here we go. So if I go through,
I'm happy. Listen, I'm not unhappy. I'm happy to be here. But
fucking hard work getting you to say yes. Let's be real.
Let's not. You know,
I had to work my. You know what? Unfortunately, the iPhone doesn't keep all the history of how many times you called somebody in a week on FaceTime. But if it did, I have had to call you every morning and every night. And I'm like, dude, I've got Glenn Hughes is going to come on the show, and this dude's going to come on the show, and this dude's going to come on the show. You're like my best freaking friend out there in this business.
I was like, all right, man. Why don't you get a few shows down your neck before I go? How about you get 5, 6, 7 shows done, and then I go, oh man, hey man, would you please?
That was in the beginning, and then in the end, I was like, would you just fucking do my show? Come on. And then how did I finally get you to agree?
Tell the people, how did you get me to agree?
In the end, Doug, I'll be with you in 1 second, mate. In the end, what happened was Vernon was on a show with a dude who is not very nice to a lot of people out there.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to say he's not that nice to people. And I said to you, if you're going to go on that guy's show and not come on my show, we're going on pack your bags because we're going for a drive and we're going to go on a trip to a town called Guilt.
It's called, that was a good line.
Thank you.
That was good. That was it. We're going to go on a trip to a town called Guilt. And that's what I said, you know what? Most of your bits fall flat. With that, we're going to go on a little trip to a town called Guilt. I said, okay, I got it. All right.
And he agreed. And here he is.
I lolled.
Of course you did. Well, look, now here comes a little bit of comeuppance for you. There's a man here who wants his room key access.
Hey.
What the funniest?
Vernon Reid. Hey, how are you,
dude? What's up, Doug? The best moment was hearing the really quiet click when the door slowly swung in and closed behind you.
So let's get a bit of context for the audience here because they don't know what's going on. Doug, please introduce yourself and tell the folks
he should tell the story.
What your story is.
Okay, cool. I've actually got like 5 minutes because I'm actually teaching. I'm a music teacher here at a secondary school here in Australia, Brisbane.
You're still teaching in the climate of what's going on?
Where's your mask, bro? Where's your mask, bro?
Yeah. It's a good point. That's a good point. But the schools are closing today, so I keep looking down here, but I should be looking up here at the light. Right. So in short, so I went to the Tom Morello guitar camp in January, and I was just checking in. I think
Where
I met
was
you
that?
That was at Fashion Island, Newport Beach,
Hotel, yeah.
California. Oh, there's the bell. You get to hear the bell internationally. Actually, it's me on the voiceover. It's kind of crazy.
Get back to class.
With a bit of the eye of the tiger. But can you still hear me over this?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I saw Vernon in the lobby lounge and checking in. So we went upstairs, and anyway, I think I might have saw him in the hallway or something. And
yeah, it happened. We were on the same floor.
Yeah,
and I was waiting for my bags.
Right. So anyway, I don't know. We were just talking about something superfluous. Anyway, he comes and knocks on my door, and anyway, I mean, when the hell does Vernon Reid knock on your freaking door? Seriously.
That's right.
So,
it was something I remembered something, and I knocked on his door, and he came out for me to say this thing that I remembered.
Yeah.
And then the door, he's talking, and the door slowly closed behind him and locked him out of the room. It was a lot funnier. See, people watching this are like, and yeah, right. It was funny at the time.
The next part's the awkward part. So anyway, I did, a massive fan of Vernon Reid, a legend, in and out. Love all your stuff. I mean, I got into all those dominant chords and, love rears his ugly head, blah, blah, blah. Another story.
You were phenomenal at the camp. You were phenomenal.
Doug is a monster guitar player. Like
Doug played at the guitar competition, and he gave them a run for their money. He gave them a run.
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
excellent.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and also really, actually, to be honest, the debrief with you in the lobby afterwards, like, it's really, really cool. You've really helped me with, seeing things differently, and because it's really, really cool. So about maybe developing the journey, because I really, really in that kind of genre, blasting, it's really, really cool. But yeah, just embellishing a little bit more melody, taking the time, melodic journey. Yeah, but anyway, it was a blast. But I got to tell you what, I was really nervous playing in front of Mr. Vernon Reid, Mr. John Five, Tom Morello.
I know it was a crazy crew.
John
Five. Woo! John Five is like,
I've never been so nervous before in my entire life. So I just stops.
You did great.
He ripped the roof off the house. I've seen the video. I'm trying to find the link right now.
All right. Well, Nuno, I actually caught up with Nuno at NAMM after I saw you, Vernon. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to wear a helmet around this guy. I can't really do it.
Yeah. Nuno's a snap. Nuno's a snap. Yeah.
I got to get him on the show.
He's good, man. He's really good people. He would be great.
And for those, I should also say, if anyone, after this whole Corona thing's done and dusted, if anyone's interested, you should go and do this, because, Vernon's a master, and you can go, friends with him now, which is, when does that ever happen? Just go on and chase your dream.
Yeah, believe me, it's not that hard to be friends with him. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Hey, yo, my man. Well, you got to chisel.
I'm just saying, if anyone can be friends, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's like anyone can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, but I really,
all you got to do is make me chuckle once, and then I'm yours.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
But what else did you get from that whole experience, Vernon, from teaching? Because you had some really great exercises, actually, about not so much musical but physical exercises about exploring the whole clipboard, about ergonomic.
Yeah, well, part of it was like just talking to people about just being with the instrument, and having contact with it, and being mindfulness is like a big topic these days, and part of the thing I was talking about was approaching certain things like alternate picking and what have you, and just being mindful, being mindful of the position of the pick, but at the same time, it's kind of like I was saying, to have compassion for yourself. You have to have compassion for yourself, but you also have to apply yourself. And the two things are very important. It's like guitar is a difficult and frustrating activity to have in your life. And the whole idea was that, you also have to, whatever level you're at, Yeah, here you go. Here we go.
That's me.
Is the sound coming through on your end?
Yeah.
So you can see, like, over where is it? Let me try and highlight it with it. That's Nuno. That's Tom Morello. And Doug just gets silly and funny, and these two just piss themselves laughing. They jump out of their chairs in a second. Oh yeah, and there's Vernon sitting there as well, Nick. You're in the front row there somewhere. It's hard to pick who you're standing next to. There he is. You can see Vernon right there. Is that Cindy Blackman sitting next to you?
Bobby McGill.
Oh, sorry, yeah. And there's John 5. Like, not a bad lineup to be sitting there watching you. And all these guys are taking their shreds so seriously, and Doug is just fucking around so much. It's hilarious. Here he goes. This is so funny what happened to you. It's great watching Doug play. It's even better watching the reaction of Nuno and Tom Morello. Here he Nuno jumps out of his chair.
I'm going to start dancing with the pole back there.
True Australian style. I mean, seriously.
That's huge, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, he threw himself all the way in.
Oh, yeah. Have you got a GoPro attached to the end of your guitar?
I did.
That footage would be so funny to watch.
Yeah.
There you go. Tom Morello and Nuno are just losing their shit. That's too funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a loop. We're going back.
Yeah, it is a loop.
We're watching the same fight. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but
that's still hilarious.
Yeah, it was really, really great. And all the people there actually,
Yep.
not just Vernon, but all the other people that attended it as well. The great contacts you make
All
out
the
of
students, all the campers. It was good. It was a good time. Really good.
And actually seeing Tom in a different light too was really, really good.
Tom is bad. Yeah, man. Tom is bad, man. It's not just the noises. He played his ass off.
He's got a lot of you in his playing, though, Vernon. I mean, that's similar.
He's got
style
a lot of him. He's got a lot more him than me. He's got a lot of him. Yeah, he's really Tom Morello. He's known for doing like these kind of like rhythmic sounds and things, but really he's a great improviser. He's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from him. I've actually watched his masterclass, and it's brilliant. Like, that subscription service masterclass where they have say, for example, Martin Scorsese teaches filmmaking and people of those sorts of levels. And Tom did one of them, and his masterclass is so cool. It's a really exciting watch. If anybody has it, and Dave, I sent you a thing for masterclass too. I forgot to mention that.
I've grabbed that and I've chucked on there.
Doug,
it's going to be one of those.
I just want to say one more thing, and then I'm going to have to jet because I've got some students waiting. But
you're neglecting your students, Doug.
Good teacher on the last day before the world ends.
One thing that Tom did share, and I'm sure every guitar player has this, but he said that when he was making his records, there was 5 components, and forgive me if I can't remember the first 4. The 5th one stood out, but stuff like chordal embellishment, and also using different textures of chords, arpeggios, single note effects. I think so. That was sonic texture, not just like chordal texture. But the last one was called "What the Fuck," and so he was, maybe a pioneer in just using different sounds. So using the guitar in a different concept, and so how that affected me is. People of the Sun. I never knew that he used to use an Allen key, so I actually did that sound when I was in a Rage tribute with my elbow. Wow. And so everywhere So anyway, now I'm sort of known for this elbow thing.
That's
which is really
where that came from.
I was wondering about what was going on with your elbow, man. That was like the elbow thing.
So Tom actually influenced me doing that. And another thing is I never knew he had a 3-way switch. So in Australia, I had a 2-way switch. So when I was doing, Know Your Enemy, I had to work twice as hard and develop this crazy technique that's only unique to a 2-way switch. And yeah. So anyway, it was good to talk tech with Tom. So it was really, really cool. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to jet. But it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's great to see you again, Doug.
You too, sir. Hopefully, please stay safe and everyone look after themselves.
Hey, absolutely.
Man.
Wash your hands. Stop touching your face and get that goddamn mask.
You've been
Yes, sir.
told.
I don't know how to hang up on this thing, so
I'll take care of it for you. Good. Thanks for
Thank you.
jumping in, Doug. I'll talk to you soon, mate.
Here's a little. There's my School of Rock. There's the drum
Nice,
kit.
nice.
And most important, the couch.
Hey,
There's
just
the
quickly, plug your business real quick.
Oh, I'm actually at a Catholic school, but my actual business, check out dougdijon.com.
There you go.
I know that.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you, Doug.
Thanks,
See you
Doug.
soon, guys.
Yep, good to see you, bro.
There you go. So that was a bit of fun,
That
huh?
was fun. That was great to see him again. Doug's a good guy.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. Good stuff. So I wanted to talk for Living Colour fans out there
Sure.
about today's Living Colour. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I grew up with, as I said, those first 3 albums, just absolutely enamorately in love with them. And, I mean, like, we're getting comments here, like John Storms has just chucked up here, and it's a perfect example. Desperate People is a barn burner. So true. Love that riff. Any particular influence behind it, which, if we can just quickly touch on that, because I want to move forward to today's Living Colour. Any particular
sure.
thing about that? Because I love that tune.
Well, it's funny because in a weird way, Desperate People is one part is a little bit of a Led Zeppelin influence on that tune. But the other thing about that tune, and when I mention it to people, they always go, oh, wow, is that the bridge is really an homage to Rush. If you check out the rhythm of the bridge, it's like the rhythm of it, the chords are different, but the rhythm of it is Tom Sawyer.
I'd never thought of that.
Right. And I wasn't conscious of it at the time. But then later on, I was like, what does this remind me of? And I was like, oh, that's Tom Sawyer. And whenever I point it out to people, they go, oh, snap. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. But it's the bridge, like, you know, that's like the main body of the tune, but it's the bridge of our, you know, it was just the rhythm of it. And it's just like, I wanted like a vibe that was kind of epic vibe. And then later on, I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Tomorrow's headlines: Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson sue Living Colour for plagiarizing.
Not even close.
No, I know, but, you know, just for a bit of a laugh. Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Desperate People is in B, right?
It's mainly in E.
Oh, of course. It's the intro that's in B, and then the main, doodle-a-doo is in E. That's right. I'm thinking the do is in B. That's right.
Oh, yeah, the intro.
Yeah. I remember the one time when we were doing that tour in 2006, I picked up, I'll never forget this. I picked up your guitar to just check something because remember we bought it in those Bad Cat amps from Eastgate Music.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Bad Cats. Yep.
And for whatever reason, you were doing something with your iPad or with your pedal or something. You're like, hey, can you play for a sec? I was like, sure, why not? And for some reason, the very first thing that came out of me, I couldn't help myself. I was just like,
yeah.
I just started playing that, and I remember you looking at me going,
I was cool with it.
I know. Just say it was just like I think maybe you were like, oh, why did he have to play one of my songs? Maybe I don't know. It was a long time ago.
It's funny though, man. It's you know, like the influences are weird the way they creep in, you know, and you'll notice it. You'll notice it later on. It's not even so much like it's like the form of that, like having an instrumental introduction before the first verse comes, and it's really like there's an introduction to the main riff, and then the riff goes, and then you get to the actual lyrics. You know what I mean? So this is a lot of like Zeppelin, The Police, King Crimson, you know, Focus, you know, shit like that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So where I want to go now, Joe, I'm going to get back to your other statement there about the guitars because I've actually got a request I gave Vernon earlier before we started talking on the show. Simon says here, the last 2 albums are seriously awesome must-haves, and that's exactly where I'm going. So I don't know if all the Living Colour fans, and I'm guilty of doing this with bands that I love from back in the day too. I think a lot of music fans, and I'm really, really guilty of this, love the albums that we had back in the day from bands who are, let's say, legacy bands, as in bands who started in the 70s and 80s and 90s and what have
Now
you.
90 and now 90s.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
90s.
and don't necessarily buy today's music, but they just sit there and go, nobody's making any good music anymore. Well, if you have not purchased Shade, the 2017 Living Color record, you are doing yourself a disservice. Shade for me was like, this is the living.
Oh, this is the living pause. Jason, his internet's having fun.
Yeah, right. He's frozen.
He's frozen again, frozen in time. He's right, though. I mean, there are bands that I sort of sit back and stop at a certain point and go, I don't listen any further to. And I do. I miss out. And so, obviously, following on with Jason's statement and quiz, there he's back again, is like, how's your writing style then changed from when you started first writing Vivid and doing all that together to now? What's changed? Do you sort of now write them remotely and then come together, or you're doing it as a band still?
It's kind of much more collaborative with the later writing. Shade is a record because it's funny. It started out with this whole idea of kind of reconnecting metal and the blues. That was kind of a thing, and then we went through this whole experience. And then we wound up going all the way around, and we wound up doing exactly what we intended to do. But we wound up doing exactly what we intended to do, but it was totally sideways for us to get there, which is kind of fascinating. Like we had to be frustrated and and then we were just gonna put it out there, and then it was like, no, it's not right, and then blah blah, we need more tunes, and having to dust up with the producer and blah, blah, blah. And we would record tunes away from him and all of these things that went on. And then when Shade ultimately came together, I was amazed at how it fulfilled the intention of connecting to the blues, because we actually had a very blues experience in making the record. I mean, it was like blood, sweat, and tears. At one point, we said, let's just abandon the concept. Okay, let's just and it all came around to be exactly what it was supposed to be.
Because you guys had been playing Preachin' Blues on tour even when I caught up with you in, I think, 2014. You were here and you were playing that. So how long had you been playing Preachin' Blues in the band before you ever recorded it?
Well, that we started that we played Preachin' Blues on the centenary of Robert Johnson at the Apollo. And that was the beginning of the whole journey. And you might have heard a very early version of Preachin' Blues. And we recorded Preachin' Blues 3 times. We recorded Preachin' Blues at least 3 times. And after the second, we said, let's just drop it. And then we recorded one more time. And the last time we recorded, we got it. And that's the version that's on Shade. So it was almost like saying to the universe, like, okay, man, so you claim you want to connect the blues, well, check this out. You're going to have the blues in trying to do this thing. And we had to go through a kind of nightmare. It was kind of a nightmare on a level. But that's what it took for it to have the real feeling that's on that record, like the song "Who's That?" I mean, that is 100%. That riff, great the riff. Whole vibe. Oh my God! And then Corey is just so 100% authentic. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. Come On and
well, I'm glad you mentioned Come On, because that's exactly where I'm going here. So with Come On, I wanted to give people out there an idea about what Living Colour's doing with their music today. So, you guys were on the Seth. Is that Seth Meyers, right? I'm not getting that wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have his show out here in Japan, so I just want to make sure I didn't get it wrong. So you guys were on.
Oh, cool. I can't hear a thing.
Yeah, Seth's
very cool. That's the whole lot. Yeah, I just realized I had to change the sound over. So, with this song and the way you do it live versus studio, that's the rabbit hole I'm going down right now. So if we just jump up to the chorus here, because otherwise we're going to, like, what a voice.
If we could hear it, it'd be great.
You can't hear it?
Can't hear it, mate.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I thought you could. Sorry. Hang on 1 second. I was. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm still getting my head around the software for doing this stuff.
This is live. This is live, people.
Exactly.
Right. There's no edits, no cuts. This is just what happens.
All right. Here we go. I've got it here. Sorry. I thought you could hear it. Now, tell me if you can hear it this time. Actually, I'll turn the volume down a little bit just in case.
Yeah, it is.
Is it loud enough, or is it too loud, or too quiet?
Turn up a little bit.
Turn up a little bit. Cool. Never problem. Okay, so we're about to launch into the chorus, and what I want you folks out there watching the show.
Oh, he's paused again. He wants us to think. There he is. He's back.
There he is.
Sorry, I got to get a new mode.
You have a flair for suspense, my friend.
He does.
I do my best. Sadly, I do. I don't mean to. So after the chorus, pay really good attention to the interlude between the chorus and the verse. So here is the live version.
Won't you come on? Won't you come on? Won't you come on, baby? Yeah, won't you come on? Won't you come on? Won't you come on, baby? Yeah. I'll be dressed impeccably in a.
So very cool, very, very nice groove and cool stuff. But I want to play the studio version now, so you guys out there can hear it, and then I want to discuss how this came. I mean, you already know what's coming.
Oh yeah. It's like it's a total chop up.
The audience may not know, so I want to go down the rabbit hole of how that happened. So here is a listen to the studio version, and play. If it needs to be louder, just do that, or that if it's too loud. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
I swear the am I still working?
Yeah, I'd be. You're back.
Yeah,
Again,
well, that's the magic of our producer Andre Betts. Doing all these crazy edits, and I love that.
Dude, the first time I heard that, and I remember I was listening to it in headphones, I was like, "What the fuck just?" And I swear I listened to that like 5 times. It was so cool.
I know it's great. No, Andre did like amazing stuff on there. Between Andre and Doug, they did like really freaky stuff. But that's Andre cutting things up. It's really very cool.
So whose idea? So it was Andre's idea to do that in that.
Andre, Andre, and it's Andre and a lot of that's Doug too. Doug is, that's like the tackhead, kind of dimension.
Yeah.
Now next one, I actually thought we were going to go a bit deeper into that, but that's all right. I'm quite happy with where that went. Who is this? Was this something that was done on the cuff? Was this something that? Yes, I like build-ups too. Was this something that was pre-planned, premeditated? Was just a tape sitting around? Was it an answering machine left? What's the story behind this?
Gun violence takes the
Oh, sorry, hang on. Sorry, so it's programmed. Sorry.
TV, there's a TV program.
This one.
Black rock band like
Oh my God. Yeah, Andre found that.
Fucking group, man.
he's loving his internet.
And he's
today.
frozen. He's
frozen. He's cool.
He's
So
frozen,
look, let's go into that then while he's talking. So you said Andre found that.
Andre found that. Yeah, Andre found it because Andre's always on the internet and checking out memes and things like that. And then Andre happened to find that, and he played it for us, and it was just like, oh, okay. And then that became the intro to the program.
That's cool.
So that was a real thing that already existed. That is so funny.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would be the story, but I didn't think that.
Yeah, that wasn't
possible.
that wasn't staged. You know, Andre found that on the I
On-
believe
on-
it's Scarface from the Ghetto Boys was talking. He was like, "Yo, man, what's the name of this?" You know, it's kind of like it was like the precursor to people react to all these reaction videos. You know what I mean? And like there's a guy reacts to Cult of Personality, reacts to nothingness. You know, there's this whole thing. Like it started out with these videos. You know, kids react to Walkman, which is like
I've seen a lot of them. Yeah.
where they give the kid a Walkman and they have no idea, and they try to swipe it. They have no idea. It's like you have to
What do I
put the
do?
thing in the thing. You know, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's funny. Yeah, those videos like seniors react to Cardi B.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't get it.
Seniors practice twerking. Nobody wants to see that.
Hey,
So-
depends on the senior.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Good call.
Okay, I'm just going to walk away from that.
You-
one. I'm
you-
going to leave you all on your own.
No, man, you're the one.
So what I love about program, and Joe actually mentioned program in here as far as here we go. There's his comment right there. Program has one of the coolest grooves, and he's right. He plays on repeat too. But what I love about program is the lyrics. I'm not
Oh, yeah.
with music. Like I'm not much of a lyric dude normally in a lot of bands, but for Living Color, I just soak in those lyrics. But like, could program be any more poignant in today's world? Like. For people who aren't necessarily familiar with it, I'm just going to play the second verse. Give me 1 second to find it. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Listen to the lyrics, folks.
You just wanna use me up. And it took limited time off with no guarantee. I'm just a sucker in this scheme. We're living like
When we get to the next verse,
they only
sec.
sensitive.
here we go.
Made me insensitive. My world, my face. Don't care how you feel. The latest gossip in the buzz online. You take up all my time. I can say what I want.
This is the spot. That's right.
Unidentified. I don't care how you feel. It's my agenda. I do what I want, do what I want. I don't care who I offend.
That is so poignant to so much of what's going on. Like, I love how you guys really strike at the heart of things. Was it an intention, even from the beginning and all the way through the career, for the band to? I don't know if the right word is political or whatever, but like, is it a cultural thing for
It's just the world. It's just the world as we see it. You know, when we talk about, I mean, it's weird because it's just the world as we see it, and actually think that in the balance of our songs, a lot of our songs are really personal, but we have personal things and then we have political things because the personal and the political are both part of life. So we were not hung up like Love Rears Its Ugly Head, you know what I mean, and Glamour Boys is there with Time's Up and Broken Hearts, and it's an entire worldview. It's like we're dealing with all different things in our lives. So Cult of Personality is, like right now we're wondering what it is about. Why do we listen to these people? Why do we follow these people? Why are we, and that's like left, right, whatever you want to do. What is it about this dude, or what is it about her that's got us all believing it,
Yeah.
And in a way, that song seems political, but in a strange way, it's a song about the political effect. It's not so much about politics. It is about the fascination. And each
Sorry,
thing,
you're referring to Cult of Personality there?
I'm referring to Cult of Personality, but all throughout the band's career, one of the things that's very eerie for us is that a lot of things we said a long time ago are still very current. And in fact, a lot of things we said a long time ago are frighteningly current and frighteningly relevant. Like right now, like Time's Up. When, we wrote Time's Up, I was thinking, you know what? I wanted to do something that was like kind of almost like a tribute to the Bad Brains. And when Corey had these lyrics, and the lyrics are all about the environment, it was so different than what it was so odd. And I thought, man, this is okay. Let's go for it. And now Time's Up is much more on point than it was even when it was originally that we did it originally. Information overload. When I wrote Information Overload, there was no email, there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter.
So you wrote the lyric for that and the concept for it?
Yeah.
And what about Cult of Personality? I've always wanted to ask you this.
The Cult of Personality, the four of us wrote the music, and I wrote the lyrics.
So it was you who came up with the line of Cult of Personality?
Yeah, because I grew up. I was a kid. I was a kid in the 1960s and 70s. I was a kid, and when I was a little kid, the 60s were wild to me as a little kid. Because the only thing I remember was that all the adults were upset all the time. All the adults were freaking out around me. And, like this whole thing about Khrushchev denouncing Stalin, because Stalin murdered millions and millions and millions of people. I mean, he murdered at least as many as Hitler and maybe more. Mao Zedong murdered like we're talking about 20, we're talking the 10s to 20s of millions of people. And Nikita Khrushchev said that, he freed, it was still communism, but he said that Stalin had erected a cult of personality around himself.
And that's okay. So that's where it came from.
That's where the phrase cult of personality is. Nikita Khrushchev talking about Stalin.
That's cool. That's incredible.
Makes perfect sense.
It's just, and we're living with the cult of personality situation, like right now.
Absolutely, we are.
Yes, we are.
And that phenomenon is not just, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
So I want to ask. Sorry, Dave. Go on. Go ahead.
I was about to say, but it's also one of the reasons why Living Colours stayed so sort of timeless as well, is that you've written about stuff, and as we know, things go in circles anyway. So, it's all going to come back and repeat on itself again. I think we struggle to learn from our own mistakes. So
if we all don't get, if we get out of this one alive.
Well, let's hope. I don't think we will. I want to be optimistic and say it's not going to be the end of humanity, but it's definitely going to be a change. That's for sure. So while we're talking about cult of personality, I know you and I sat down and did this once before together, but that was just you and me. I wanted to do this for the folks at home. For those guitar players out there, I've always thought that I played the riff correctly, and then Vernon said, that's not the fingering I use, because I asked you. So can you grab one of your guitars there and we'll just show them quickly how you finger this riff versus how I do it?
Okay, so
this is how I do it. I actually do. Which you were like, you do a pull-off? What the hell? But you do it really different.
I don't do it like that. I don't know. There's this one.
I'm back, I know. My internet went out for a second.
That's all right. You're still there, mate. You're still there.
Oh, and now he's got the PRS. And I wore a PRS t-shirt today. I couldn't help myself.
Get the neck. Okay. That's the way it's supposed to be played.
Well, of course. Well, you wrote the damn riff, so you should know.
It's just basically a G. It's just. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty
And what's
cool.
that chord that you do just before the vocal comes in?
It's a G9.
But you've got something else in there that I don't. I don't know. There's something here I'm not catching. So on each string, what are the frets?
It's F, right? A, D,
And G.
Yeah, that's it.
Why did I never figure that? It's now I'm looking. I'm going. I'm such a dumbass. That's so simple. So you don't actually use bass strings on that one.
Hmm?
You don't use.
You mean in that chord? No.
I also love that. Does that sound right to you or wrong to your ear?
Be honest, say wrong.
Yep.
Are those notes right?
No.
Nope.
It's like it's. Where am I? Who am I? Where am I? Okay.
What am I?
What am I? Okay, let's do it like this. It's awkward. I don't have a strap on this. Those are the notes.
Nice. I can.
That's it.
Which
you make
of your
that look
sorry
and sound? You make it look and sound quite effortless, mate. It's like you wrote the song or something. So that's really cool.
Out of all of your riffs in your catalog, which one do you feel like the most proud of? In that's probably hard, like choosing a child, but like you must have something. You've written so many great riffs, but is there anything in particular that, like you hear it or you listen back to relearn for a tour or something? You go, wow,
I mean the cult riff. I mean it's. I think about that how we did it, and it's like I get a little nostalgic about the fact that it was just rehearsal, and the rehearsal we wrote that song in one rehearsal.
That's cool.
So that's cool.
You wrote that song in one rehearsal.
Can't really see the guitar. You can't see that. That's a middleman, and that.
I love it.
Yeah, because that's the first song I co-wrote with Corey Glover.
Cool. There's a nice bit of history.
That's the very first one. Yeah, and so those are the two songs we probably played. Those two songs at almost every Living Color gig. Like there've been Living Color gigs where we haven't played Glamour Boys, and Living Color gigs where we haven't played. Funny Vibe, but there's very few Living Color gigs. There's no Living Color gig where we haven't played Colt. Actually, that's not true. There's like maybe one. One time, Colt was going to be the last encore, and we hit a curfew, and they stopped, and people were not happy. And they were like,
riot material.
They literally cut the power to the stage, and
what I find really beautiful at the shows is when you guys do Open Letter to a Landlord, and Corey that intro you guys do together is just serene.
Yeah. Corey is ridiculous, man. Corey's like, when Corey's really on top, and he always is, he'll turn any venue into a church on that tune.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that.
seriously, he does it consistently.
We have we have another guest chiming in here. This is our man Joe Mastroflippo. Believe it or not, that's his name, and he's a wonderful gentleman. And here he is to come and say hello. Joe, just turn off the sound on your other stream, mate.
Yeah. Hold on.
He does it consistently.
People always do that when they jump in. We have another guest chiming in here. This is our man.
Wow, that's a crazy delay.
Oh yeah,
Isn't it?
Should be off now.
Joe, how do I pronounce your surname correctly? Did I get it right?
You pronounced it perfect, man.
Woohoo! I've known Joe
Good
for
job.
some time. He's a big supporter of all the things that I do, and he's a guitar player. He's a big Ibanez guy like myself, hence his T-shirt. And he's a big fan. He's the guy who's been chiming in and talking about quite a few things. So whenever you see this logo pop up, that's him.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, right. Sure.
So yeah,
Thank you.
face to the logo.
What's up, man?
What's going on, bro?
Nothing much. Want to tell you, you're a huge influence on me. I've been listening to since Vivid and everything else past that. You've been in like every point of my life has been Living Color music from beginning to end, man. It's been just been an awesome journey, man.
Right on. Yeah, it is. That's the way I talk about it to people. Is that the whole thing is a journey, you know? So we're all going. We're all going.
Yeah.
we're all on
You
it,
two
yeah.
don't actually live too far from each other as well.
You're Shaolin?
Well, no, what I was going to ask you is, I know you always refer to where you live in Shaolin, but I lived in Weehawken, and you guys used the studio over there.
Yeah, that's right.
To do a lot of recording.
John Hanty's.
Yeah.
We were rehearsed at John Hanty's. We rehearsed for Times Up at John Hanty's. For recording Times Up.
Joe, do this, mate. Flip your phone.
Oh, this way?
There we go. Better.
Oh, okay.
Much better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We rehearsed at John Hanty's place, and we did some recording. We recorded we recorded a version of "Go with the Flow." Yeah, we recorded a version of "Go with the Flow."
I'll be back in one sec, guys.
Queens of the Stone Age too.
Right. You also did some video for Time Tunnel in there too, as well, right?
Yeah, we did.
Because my favorite line is when they say, "Oh, Vernon Reid, he comes in for a little bit, does his thing, and then leaves."
You're like, I'm here, I'm out. Yeah, man, it's wild thinking about all these things. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you talk about these things, and we talk about gigs and studios and rehearsals and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's weird now because, you're thinking about it and you're going, over to blah, 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 which is down the block from the blah, blah, blah. And now we're not doing none of that.
No.
You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like one of these things that's in the background. It's funny how every conversation now has become one conversation. That's very rare. Like the last time it was like that was 9/11 was the last time there was anything like that.
Yeah.
And this dwarfs 9/11 on a level.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But I'm talking about Weehawken, it's like I'm thinking about Weehawken and thinking about Hoboken, and then it's like, oh yeah, but you're not gonna go to the pizza place in Hoboken. You're not. You know what I mean? We're not.
No.
I mean, and that's the part of even talking about, and we're talking about the very, very recent past. And we're all trying to figure out, like, what's it gonna look like on the other side of this? Like that's a very real. What's rocking the whole culture of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're moving into a very different world now. I think we are definitely going forward. And what is it going to look like on the other side?
It's like
Forgive me. How do I spell Weehawken?
WEEHAWKEN.
I'm going to bring up a map because I have no idea where you're talking about because I'm not American and I just don't know. So I just want to bring up.
Does the name Weehawken fascinate you that much?
Well, no, just like I'm trying to figure out the geography.
Yes.
It's not even that.
It's
It's the
beyond-
geography,
yeah.
mate. You got to understand, like, we're not all Americans here. We don't know
We're
all
not
this stuff.
assuming. I mean, oh, it's okay. It's like
Well,
So okay, so there's Manhattan. Oh, okay. So which bridge
it's
is
in
that
New
across?
Jersey.
yeah,
I get that now. Which bridge is that across?
you can get there from the George Washington.
George Washington, GW. You give up
Yep.
GW. Yeah.
And it's just across from Times Square. Okay, see, mate, I've never been
I
to
mean,
New York yet.
you can get there from the Bayonne Bridge, but it's a bit of a hike.
Yeah, you got to go out all the way uptown.
Yeah,
After you get
yeah.
to that, forget it.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense now that I'm looking at this. So, like Hell's Kitchen, I've heard of course, and I saw Times Square, and there's Rockefeller Center and stuff. It kind of makes sense now geographically, because I don't know New York.
But see, the thing is so funny. You mentioning Times Square and Radio City and all like that, and right now, like I have a friend of mine who's entrepreneur in Las Vegas, and he said Las Vegas is dark,
Wow.
which is like
Yeah, that
Just a ghost town.
like Las Vegas is dark,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's unheard of.
it's unheard of. Like I actually really want to go to Times Square to take because I'm a photographer too, because
Yep.
I'm on Instagram. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, dude. Your
Times-
pictures on Instagram are amazing. You should
Oh,
do a
thank
book.
you,
I'm
sir.
telling you, do the book.
you know what? Now I got time to do it. You know what I mean? but it's a lot of things that we have taken for granted for a long time. Are we don't know what's going to happen on the other side, and that's scary, but also on a positive tip. So people that have been shut out, right? The system has been set up, and they can't get in. There's no way in, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm talking about particularly in media and whatnot. Like this is actually a crack. It's like a crack going down the middle of the whole thing.
Mm.
So on the other side of this, the people are going to make their name. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like that's going to happen. Oh, yeah,
here's an
there's like-
example of
There you
Here's
go.
an example
Yeah.
of Vernon's photography. And I have to say, like, I mean, people know I'm a video guy and I love looking down the barrel of a camera, even though I do video versus photography most of the time. You do some cool photos, mate.
You know, so
Yeah,
you
dude.
stop right there. That pedal board, that picture of the pedal board.
That
right?
one?
Yeah, those two pictures. There's one that's the smearing, but I'm talking about the other one that's like that pedal board. Well, yeah, that pedal board was from I sat in with this blues guy Otis Taylor. I played with him at Iridium, and that's the last gig. It was
Ugh.
it was like March the 9th, and that was my last gig. Everything
Wow.
else, you know what I mean? And like this picture right here, this is a picture. Like this was at the beginning of the coronavirus thing, and this is and no traffic. My car was the only car on this road. And yesterday I went to Brooklyn to drop off some flowers for my mom. Yesterday was my mom's 81st birthday.
Yeah, your
And I
photo,
went-
that was cool. I love this.
Oh yeah. And when I tell you,
Oops.
that Brooklyn, this is the middle of the day, it was no traffic, like none. I mean, and really the thing about it is that people want to get over. People want everything to come back to normal. Can we go back to normal?
No.
It ain't
can't.
gonna happen for a while.
And right. And the answer is no. And this is where it's going to get interesting. Is when it's 3 weeks from now, and it's still not coming back.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I got gigs like still officially on the books. I'm supposed to go to New Orleans. That's toast. New Orleans is where they have one of the biggest outbreaks right now.
Yeah. It's really bad there.
Like Jazz Fest is done. That's done.
The industry's really going to feel it if the Winter NAMM doesn't happen next year, which it probably isn't going to by the looks of things. I mean, if nobody's made any money this year, nobody's going to be able to spend for their booths and so on.
I mean, you know what? If we get to the point, that's like many months away. So if we don't flatten out, if we have to slow down. That's the whole thing, is slowing down the infection rate.
Absolutely.
If it isn't slowed down, it's a wrap. And there's things going on right now. I'm sorry to bring it up, but that whole spring break thing in Florida, I'm like, are you serious?
Yep. The largest the largest age population in America is in Florida, is it not? Or am I just assuming stereotypically?
It's got a massive senior population, but also the spring break kids, they're from all over the country. So they're doing their thing on the beach. Right? And there was a similar thing in Australia, in Sydney. There's the big beach in Sydney. And
Bondi Beach.
Bondi Beach. And Bondi Beach was like Daytona Beach in Florida. It was like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
I want to ask, because you're in New York and Joe, you're just over in New Jersey, obviously. This photo, I've left it up here for a reason. What is happening with the homeless during all of this? I'm probably going down a really deep rabbit hole, but
No, but you're asking a very pertinent question, and I'm talking about the cities that have like really, really serious homeless problems. New York, like San Francisco. You know,
we even have a homeless population in Tokyo too. A lot of people don't realize that, but there is a sizable homeless population in Tokyo. Unfortunately, that's a worldwide problem. What about in New Zealand? Do you have much of that, Dave?
There's a few. There is definitely a bit of a homeless population here in New Zealand, and they're quite transient, and they quite often come to where I'm based here in Napier because the climate's so temperate pretty much all year round. So we see quite a lot of it. So we've got shelters and places that I know that are there for a lot of the homeless people that are out there. So I'm hoping they get to can manage with the numbers that will be going into it. But you know, it's scary just to try and work out what could possibly happen to those less fortunate than myself and others who have a house or a roof over their heads. So yeah, the effects of this virus is going to be a lot more far reaching than a lot of us can think of.
It's
I love seeing things. Sorry, go on, Vernon. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, I love seeing things like this photo here. I don't know if this is a just taken photo or what it was posted. I remember seeing, there you go, 7 days ago. There's John Bon Jovi right there in his Soul Kitchen, which I believe he has a big homeless outreach center or something in New York, doesn't he?
He has a Soul Kitchen in Jersey, and he has one in Pennsylvania too.
And they feed the homeless, do they not?
Yeah, they do. He has a whole system where you can go in and get a meal, and then you pay whatever you think it's worth, or you don't have to pay, or you can offer, assistance or to work and in payment. So it's an amazing program.
That's beautiful. Great. The fact that he's putting himself there in the kitchen, scrubbing the pot. I mean, look, some people go, "Oh, this is just set up for the photo." You know what? It probably isn't. He just comes across to me as the kind of dude that does that, and that's good. That's humanity at its finest, right there, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, to add on Jason's point, that's what's going to get us out of this is the empathy and the humanity coming out and putting aside everything and becoming the people we're supposed to be to lead ourselves out of it.
Absolutely.
That's exactly it. This is a test. Seriously.
Yep. This is why I brought Joe in. He's a good dude.
This is a worldwide test. Seriously. It's not, and we're going to find out who we really are at the end of this.
Yeah.
Seriously. And
mate, we're all stuck on the same rock floating around in space. We've got to come together and, mate, forget all the crap. And mate, can you imagine humanity working as one what we could do.
Right.
You know.
Don't start singing "We Are the World" or I'm out.
Oh no. I'm not going to sing. No, everyone would leave.
Or don't recite the lyrics to "We Are the World" either.
Oh no chance.
But I agree. It's because when the doctors and the nurses in particular are thinking for them, you know what I mean? They deserve massive props, like beyond. Because right now they're taking medical students and they're graduating them,
Right.
like early to get them in to put them on the line. It's seriously like warfare right now.
Here's a good example for you of how the world is going to improve, I believe, from this. I have a very, me and Dave have a very dear friend called Mohammed, who we met while we were in Dubai. So our video that we did of our Stairway to Heaven cover that's up on my Instagram and stuff that we did over in Dubai in 2012, he was one of the main people shooting the footage that we had out in the audience that we used from night to night. And I put together from that. He fell in love with the girl guitar player who we had out on the tour named Helen. And the two of them just clicked. They got married. They struggled really hard to have him move from Dubai over to the UK. It was really, I mean, you were born in the UK, so you know what it's about. And so he moved there, and it was so hard to get the visa and blah, blah, blah. The amount of backlash and shit that he got from being there, and he's a dentist and a very capable and qualified dentist. And now all this shit's going down. He actually messaged me yesterday. He is on call for dental emergencies, which is going to happen as things go crazy. And all these people who are giving him a hard time for being an Arab, how dare you be in our Anglo-England country and all this bullshit, now need him more than ever. And I really hope that everything, say that Living Colour's been talking about for the last 35 years and situations that dude and everyone else has gone through, hopefully brings the world some form of unity at the end, that everyone can just look back at each other and go, we got through it together. Exactly what you guys were saying.
Exactly. I believe in that. I believe that.
And then after that, you can't forget, because then we go right back in the same cycle.
That's
because this whole virus is the equalizer. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how much stature you have. You're a human being, just like everyone else. It'll attack you as much as it will the poorest person. It does not matter.
Prince Charles has it.
Right.
The best thing that could happen to this thing, and I don't mean to be horrible or nasty, but if Donald Trump gets it. Because
you know what? No, man. No. I don't want.
Don't wish it on. Don't wish it on them.
I'm not wishing it upon him. I'm just saying, like, I'm not American, all right? So I don't have the same reflection that what you guys do. But my interpretation as an outsider, and I'll say that up front, I'm an outsider. I'm not American. But my interpretation as an outsider is, if he was to contract it, it would put a genuine face on this thing is real, and I hope it would just wake people up. I don't want him to get it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, because it's
what's the American side of that?
What do you mean the American side?
Like as in the statement that I just made.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening right now. We got, I don't know, 3 or 4 senators that have it now. You know, we know that Tom Hanks got it.
Right.
You know,
we
lost Manu Dibango to it.
Sorry, we lost who? Sorry?
Manu Dibango is a very African saxophonist. He was very famous in the 70s.
Oh, that's a horrible thing.
He was 88 and he passed from it. And we're gonna see more of that. We're gonna see things that are gonna really shock us. Like it's gonna come home. And I hate to say it, it is gonna take somebody really famous and really currently popular. Someone really currently popular. Not that we're famous 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Someone that's famous right now. And I'm not going to say no names because I don't want to make that phone call to the universe.
Yeah, very cool.
But what's terrible about this is that it's the kind of situation on the other side of this. Nobody's gonna not know somebody.
That's a good point.
That's it.
And it's eerie and it's disturbing to think people that we're like to think in 3 weeks, people that are here with us now are going to be gone. And that is sobering.
Damn, dude,
It's
that's
very
chilling as
sobering.
fuck. I hadn't thought about it like that.
It's real. They just, and people have been going, okay, it's going to be old folks. Like just my wife just said, she pointed out someone that's a principal. This woman was 36 years old and she just died from it.
She died from it.
She died from it. She was 36.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah. There are people on ventilators that are in their 20s. That is happening. So all of this is just going to happen to old people. You got to get that out of your mind. You got to drop that real quick.
Yeah.
People
need to take it more seriously. It's really not. It's not something to take lightly. It can affect anyone. It has no prejudice. It doesn't matter. And we seriously need to get that nailed home.
So the music, so I want to just say something about music.
Please.
And what I'm going to say about it is that whatever comes out of this musically is it's not going to work if it's just clever. It's going to have to be some heart-wrenching, or it doesn't even have just to be sad. It could be even joyful, but it's going to be pulled out of people. Like whatever's happening is not going to be glib. It's not going to be glib. It's going to be holy shit. Whether it's whatever form it takes. We're not ready yet. It's not even gonna. It's like we could talk about it, but it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down.
It is.
I'm talking about whatever if it's the metal, hip hop, jazz, whatever comes up out of this, is gonna be hectic. Believe it.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Yoya really wants to say.
I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm looking forward to hearing what that is. I'm even looking forward to being a part, creating. You know what I mean? Hopefully. But what I'm not looking forward to is what it's going to take
to get there.
Get there, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like 4 Dead in Ohio. The Crosby, Stills, that song was. Those kids were murdered on a Thursday. That song was on the radio the next Monday. And it's going to be something. It's going to be things like that. Someone in this mix is going to have to lose big. Someone creative is going to have to lose big, and they're going to have to turn around and go, you know what? They're going to do what's going on about what this is.
Yep.
It's not going to come from, oh, this is a very important thing that we got to do. It's going to have to be torn out of somebody's guts.
Yep. It's going to have to have a real personal meaning to it.
It's going to have to be torn out of somebody's guts for real.
Absolutely.
It affects everyone to the core because it's your entire surrounding, everything. Your entire life is being totally restructured right now. You can't go out, you can't do this. So now you're relying on yourself, your family, your loved ones, and you have to make sure that everything is safe. So this is going to affect you physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. So that anxiety, that mental issue that you have to deal with it's so encapsulating. Yes, you can try to, avoid it or not think about it, but every once in a while it's going to creep in and it's going to rock you. And you're going to be like, okay, I gotta get myself together here. I gotta get myself together for me, for my family, for my friends, my loved ones, for society, who needs me. You know what I mean? So it affects you at the core.
There's a guy here, Thomas Mancini, who wrote something.
Yeah, he's the gentleman in Portugal we were talking about earlier.
Right.
So his family's from the north of Italy. My father and mother-in-law are 81 and 83. They live in Venice. Imagine how I am. I mean, he must be going out of his
Well,
mind.
I know. Well, hey, man, my mom just turned 81 yesterday, so trust me, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Only
You
thing
know what
is,
I mean?
he's in Portugal. They're in Italy.
Mate, as you know, my younger brother's in Bergamo with his young family. He's in the middle of it. He's right in the middle of the Lombardy region, and I'm just rapt that we are able to stay in contact with them. They're doing fine, but his lovely Italian wife has lost a great aunt. She was 96, and the virus took her, and it's a great equalizer.
The day that this whole thing is unfortunately going to turn the world into complete and utter chaos is going to be the day that the internet breaks down. And I hope that doesn't come But could you imagine, like, I mean, if people are stuck indoors, and because there's like, I'm using the stream right now myself, we're all a part of that. The internet is being so overrun. Like, I mean, you can pick up Instagram any day and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what? Brian May from Queen live, or Keith Urban's going live with Nicole Kidman dancing around the living room, and all, not just musicians, all sorts of people are just going live because there's nothing else they can do right now except try and reach out. Actually, what we're doing here, I mean, before we go to this discussion, the whole point of me doing this show is just to put some positive vibes out there so they can hear from the likes of Vernon and my other guests that are coming on the show. And that's the only thing I can do to help the world. It's not much.
But it's a great thing. This is a great. You know what? I gave you shit, but seriously, this is a good thing. This really is. You know what I mean? And you know what? For people in rock and metal that just say their feelings, you know, because we can talk about the records and we can talk about the tours and we can talk about these things, but no one is going to avoid. You can't. This is too big. It's too real. You know what I mean?
But we also need to give them other things to think about sometimes.
Of course. We don't have to. You know what I mean? But it is the main thing is, you know what? Everybody doing their things. You know, we're down here on the ground with y'all. We're here. You know what I mean? And like you said, this is it's not about whether you're famous or not famous or whatever. You know what I mean? But hey, check this out. By the way,
go on.
I've been doing this for 2 hours. I'm leaving.
Before we started, before we got on air,
I was trying to think of what's so graceful. I don't find a graceful, poetic, lovely ending for this stream. Yo, man, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten my dinner. You know, cut me out. You said it was going to be an hour. It's 2 hours. Look here, baby. You know I love you. You know I love you
too, mate. Thank you.
But you know what? I know everybody. It seems a bit abrupt, but trust me when I tell you.
This is just the way you play guitar solos. Do you remember the
very
time?
Abrupt. See, like, don't write the check with your mouth. Don't write the check.
The time tunnel VHS.
Don't write the check. Okay? Listen, y'all. This is great. You know, hey man, let's do this again in a couple of months because it's gonna be. You know, he's frozen. So anyway, he's frozen. He's a TV dinner. He's a TV dinner right now.
Absolutely. Like I have to say that. Thank you very much for throwing your time together to spend with us and it's chat, man. It's been cool. It's been I know. Listen,
man. Yeah. Blame it on the boogie. Listen, it's been great.
Well, don't blame it on the sunshine or the moonlight.
Yeah. Listen, man. Joe, it's great to meet up with you on here, man. Stay safe.
Thank you, dude. Same to you, man. Love you.
David, Jason, all y'all, let's meet up in about a month or so. You know what I mean? Compare notes. Yeah. I would like that. To everybody that's out here checking this out, you know, I wish the best for you and your families. You know, stop touching your face, wash your hands. You know what I mean? And with soap.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe, everybody. And,
light and love. Later, Vernon. To you and your family, man.
That's it.
You know,
I'll talk to you probably tomorrow or the day after or whatever.
If I pick up.
Because now you've had enough of me for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, you know, I've had my McNamara quotient for a while now. I'm good.
Oh my God.
I know you don't know how much I've been badgering him this week. I've called him like every morning and every night for the last week going, do my fucking show. And he finally gave in. He knows.
All right.
Thank you very much, mate.
All right,
so much. Thank
I
you for your
will
time.
kick you out of the studio, Vernon, so you don't have to worry about doing it yourself, mate. All right? Stay beautiful.
Thanks for playing. Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Take care, man. Later.
Take care of your family.
All right, guys.
He's out. He's free. Joe, you always ask me if I could help you to meet Vernon one day. Well, there you go. We finally made that happen.
Man. You have no idea. I'm like a 5-year-old in a candy store, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure, mate. I love the relationship I have with you. It's all good. That's the best thing about today's technology, and that's honestly what's probably going to get us through this thing is that, like, I mean, Dave I've known for 15 years, and we've played in bands together, and he's a very dear friend. And as I said, we went to Dubai together. I left from Tokyo, he left from New Zealand, we went to Dubai and did like 6 nights a week for 3 months together, you know. I mean, we got a lot of history together, and
It's an amazing adventure, man.
yeah. But the fact that
something else.
in this time of all this crisis, that we can come together and do this show together with people, and now we've got yourself, and we'll get other people on just to, like, let's say those of us that aren't famous, and I'll connect them with those guys, and it's just a bit of fun.
It's totally cool, man. You're an
But we're
awesome
lucky we got
dude.
the internet. Oh, thank you, John.
Love it, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
And nice to meet you, man.
Now we've
Yeah.
got yourself, and
You too.
we'll get other people on just to,
That's
like,
great.
let's say. I'm hearing sound. Where's that coming from? And I'll
Hold
connect
up.
them with those
First thing
guys.
here.
It's just a bit of fun.
Totally cool, man.
He just wanted to hear you say that all again.
Yeah. Said it so nice. I said it twice, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly it.
Hold on. I got to turn this thing off. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
just hit the mute button or pause or
I
something.
can't. Hold on. Oh, my God. There we go.
You saw it here, folks. The machines are coming alive all on their own. You can't even
God,
turn
this
the volume
thing's
down.
awful.
You can't turn the volume down.
You can just put it further away.
Good Lord.
Old school.
What a pain in the ass. Sorry about that.
That's all right, Joe. Don't worry about it. Anyway, listen, we're going to wrap up the show, so I'm going to let you go, Joe, and then Dave and I will wrap up the show. But I'll see you on another show very soon, Joe. You know what? While you're here, quickly, coming up Sunday night your time, Monday morning our time, Michael Sweet from Striper is going to be on the show.
Oh, man. Another awesome show.
Yeah, another one of my friends like Vernon, who I just have a very fun, silly relationship with. It's going to be a lot of fun having Michael on.
We are the soldiers under God's command.
Well, apparently, I mean, I don't subscribe to that book, but I still
No,
get
that's
along
a
great
song,
with the dude.
man.
Oh, I thought you were saying. I thought you were a Christian dude, and that was your.
No. Come on
You'd
now.
be Catholic, wouldn't you, if anything?
Well, there's a difference. There's a Catholic. There's, you got Christian, all different flavors, man. It's like soda.
Can you shut that thing up? Because I want to
Yeah, hold on, hold on.
I want to show you something fun. You'll enjoy this. So much for letting the guy. He wants to stay here anyway.
Although I'm loving seeing in the background, he's got his three Ibanez.
How's that?
Hanging up in the back behind you on the three Ibanez.
Oh yeah, show us those Ibanez guitars, mate.
Oh, damn. All right. So.
Oh no,
He's got more than three. Yeah, he loves them just like I do.
Got my swirl.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Was that swirled by Darren?
No, that's Herc Fed.
Okay.
The great late Herc Fed. Late great Herc Fed.
Oh, that amber one in the top corner is such
That's
a babe.
my baby.
Yeah, go on. Yep, you got your piezo on there.
Yep,
Your
that's my
7
RG.
string. That's the
RG
RG2027X.
Yes, sir. And then I got this one. This is all Koa. And I put some Titans in there.
Nice.
Very nice guitar. And what else we got here? I got the neck through right there, 7-string.
Huge, man. That's cool.
And this baby I saved from somebody who didn't take care of her. It's
Good man.
It's a RX.
Yes, it is.
But it's loaded, man. It's got a Titan in there. It's got a chopper and an Area 51 in the middle. No, Blue Velvet.
Oh,
It's funny seeing an RG style body with the humbucker single. Oh, sorry. I was not going to say that. With the 22 frets, rather.
Well, this one only has 22, right? Yeah.
I know it's an RX, but it's funny seeing that style shape.
Yeah, and this was my first one. Look at this one, old school
Oh,
525.
Roadstar, nice.
Yeah, with the
That's
old
like-
school headstock.
That's similar to what Gary Moore used on the Out in the Fields video.
Oh damn!
that's wicked.
Yeah, great stuff, man.
And Joe, while you're here and you've got an audience, show us some of your artwork. So, Dave, Joe is an artist.
Oh, some of my artwork. This is one of my pieces here.
Man, that's awesome. That's beautiful.
I'm gonna highlight you so that they can see that bigger. Here we go.
Lights up. Hold up. That's one of my pieces there. Then there was a piece in my studio right there. This is all
that's
wood.
wicked, mate. That's
All
awesome.
woodwork and stuff. Yeah. Jason, I appreciate that, man. That's another piece right there.
Mate, that's gorgeous. That is really cool, bro. That's absolutely that's incredible. Look, mate. That's what the world needs, mate. Everyone to come together and show their talents.
Just some skulls. Yeah, where are these?
That's weird. Why do we have that layout now? There we go.
Nice.
Do some really nice work with skulls and whatnot. My work is actually, I packed it up. I had a show going on, and I haven't unpacked it yet. My studio's all empty. That's why. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I one of the things I do is I always look to the sun. The sun is a huge inspiration to me.
Yep.
And like, for instance, like these things here. You can see that.
Yeah.
It's all on textured type of paper. Then I have these types here.
Nice,
All
man.
different kinds of graphics and whatnot. So yeah, it's a fun thing. I love doing it.
Is. Nice and tribal, man. It's really cool. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of my signature thing.
That's cool. That's epic, man. That's
being from New Zealand, that's a big thing in your country's culture too.
Yeah, no, that sort of all those sort of the would call it like a Maui's hook and that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's that's beautiful. I mean, but I love your use of color through it as well. But also the especially the one you had hanging on the wall with the wood and the little dangly. But that's just beautiful, man. That's.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
Talented man.
Thank you.
I am looking forward to what's coming up on the show. So for those of you who are still catching this, we will have, as I've already said a couple of times, Michael Sweet from Striper coming up on Sunday night, US time, UK, Monday for us over this side of the world. Then the next day we'll have Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater.
Oh my God.
I am looking forward to that chat because as you
I have
look
some
at Jason,
friends.
Look at Jason. He looks like Jordan Rudess.
And
Jordan Rudess looks like Jordan. I'm trying to work out. I have to ask them who came up with the look first.
Actually, I shaved my head before Jordan did. I think.
Yes.
I can't remember. I think I did. But then the day after that, and I still haven't sorted out the time with him, but he did email me back, and we're going to do it. Is Drew from Carnival? Do you know Carnival, Joe?
Yes, I do.
Love that band. I love me some Carnival. Now I'm going to put it in the chat here for people watching the show.
Yep.
The spelling of the name so that you do look up the right band if you haven't actually heard them before. This band Carnival, which I've just hit the button there, is so freaking good.
Absolutely.
I just adore them, and every member of the band is amazing. But unlike, say, a Dream Theater band where it's like technical central, and I love that too. Carnival is much more tempered, I guess, is one word to use for that.
Mate, technical as well though. I mean,
yeah, but not in an obvious shredder sense.
No, it's rhythmically challenging to listen to, and that's really, really, really cool. I mean, especially from my point as a drummer, it's just like, yeah,
Steve Judd is an insane drummer.
I can't even imagine how to do half the stuff that Steve does. So yeah, it's incredible. So they are great to listen to. And Thomas Mancetti just chucked up a nice comment, which is very true. Yes, Jason's missing some beard.
Well, the funny thing is, people often say to me, "Oh, you look like Jordan." And even when I worked in the music shop, it was funny when I was working at Ishibashi in Tokyo. The amount of customers, if they saw me standing near a keyboard, would be just freaking out, thinking I actually was him in the store. but like Jordan comes up to about here on me, so
it's the perfect height, man. His feet touch.
He's still growing.
Exactly. Give him time.
If anybody does want to check out Carnival, I'm just putting in the comments here the names of the two albums that I recommend. They do have a third album, which for me didn't hit me the same way, but the first two albums. So I've just put the names in here. Themata, which was their first album, and the second album, Sound Awake, which I brag a lot, but I'm actually in the thank you credits of that record. True story. And why? Because I helped Drew get his Paul Reed Smith endorsement.
Nice.
and Hoss, the other guitar player. That's why they thanked me in that. But and even though I didn't say it on the show with Vernon because he hates it when I bring it up, I helped with the PRS thing, and I also got him his Parker endorsement before that too.
Oh, and we didn't even get to talk guitars with him, and it was one of my questions I'd written down. But hey, that's we'll get him again.
Get him next time.
Absolutely, because quite interesting some of the stuff that Vernon's had. Looks like Jason's frozen again. He's having one to say, look, you see, he cursed himself. He said, "Oh, what if the internet fails?" And it's
Oh my God.
I just decided every time my internet does that, I'm just going to come up with some new pose. I don't know.
do it, mate. Do it.
Maybe I'll spontaneously combust one time. Who knows?
Your stream looks like the end of an 80s sitcom show, man, when they do the credits at the end.
Very true.
I like that. But yes, the other news that we have is that, as I just announced earlier in the middle of the show, coming up, we are going to have at least RJ Hale from the band Hailstorm, and possibly Lizzie, if he can talk her into doing it, which she may do, because a lot of people are doing nothing. And I just got word, thanks to Jubby,
Nice.
Kip Winger is interested in coming to do a show.
Damn. That's awesome.
So if we can get Kip on the show, that'd be awesomely cool. I mean, look, I've already messaged Reb Beach, and Reb is so shy, he probably won't do it. He's just not that kind of dude. But
he's got that new band. He's got that band with the MSG singer dude, man. Oh my God.
Yes. Robin is an insane vocalist. Robin McCauley. Man, that guy. I actually got to meet him and hear him sing live with Raiding the Rock Vault in Las Vegas last year. After NAMM, I went to Las Vegas and caught up with some friends and went to the show, and it was great. Like that night, there was Rowan Robinson from Dio's band on guitar, Howard Lees from Heart on guitar. So Robin was singing, and oh my God, I know the other two singers. I'm just totally blanking on their names. He's going to kill me because I had a really big chat with the other singer, and I'm just blanking right now. But they had oh my God, I'm blanking the girl's name that sings in Meatloaf as well. She's phenomenal. And Bluss Elias from Slaughter was on drums.
On drums.
Oh, damn.
So I did a video with Bluss after that show. We just did a little like talking about his time with the movie Rockstar, which I am a huge fan of and brought up the other day with Mason as well. And so, yeah, I might even ask Bluss if he wants to be on the show too. You know,
That'd be sweet. That'd be cool.
Really cool.
We seem to be getting a lot of drummers.
Yeah, because drummers are interesting.
They
Well,
are.
I'm not, but everyone else is interesting. Every other
Well,
drummer's interesting.
provided that he does enjoy it, which I know he's going to give me the same shit as what Vernon did. Will Calhoun's going to come and do a show too.
Yes.
Oh,
So-
man. That'd be awesome, man.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Will is an incredible drummer, but a great storyteller and a genuine good dude. So,
Seriously is.
yeah, mate.
I've got a bunch of others in the works that I can't say their names yet because until I get like, yep, I'm in. But I mean, Calhoun, that's fine. It's a done deal. It's fine. He hasn't said I'm 100% in, but he'll be in, just like Vernon.
It'll just
but
take a lot of harassment from Jason.
well, no, they're very different personalities. Those two,
They
they really are quite different kind of dudes. For brothers in arms, it's funny hearing them talk about each other. It cracks me up. So anyway, we're going to end the stream now. I've got to get my son out and take him to go and catch up with a friend because we're not actually on lockdown here in Japan yet, and I'm concerned that's going to be to Japan's detriment. But time is going to tell on that one. So
That's
I don't
all.
know.
I've got to go and risk myself out in the world now and go and grab a few supplies from the supermarket just before we sit down to sort of make dinner and everything as well. So.
yeah, what time is it in New Zealand now?
Now it is 3:20 in the afternoon on Friday, the 27th of March. So,
And what about for you, Joe?
It's 10:20. Still Thursday.
In the evening,
Yes, sir.
and it's 11:20 a.m. for me here in Tokyo. Gotta love the internet.
Well, good morning.
Absolutely. Good
Something
morning.
like that.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Good evening,
folks.
Joe. Yeah.
Well, I am going to sign off now. Thank you very much, everybody who's watched the show. Thank you to all the people who've watched the show later when the show is just being aired rather than being live. If you got to the end here, champion effort, well done. I'm mind blown that you actually sat here through all of this crap even at the end. Please leave us a thumbs up on YouTube. Please leave us a comment on YouTube because it helps the algorithm to make the show more visible.
Absolutely.
Please tell your friends, to just check out on YouTube. It's just my name, Jason McNamara. But if you type in live streams with famous friends, and I also have a playlist on YouTube that you can get to, which will have all the upcoming shows as I go. And I'm trying to create the thumbnails and stuff. I spend a lot of time just making the thumbnails, but I think it's worth
Okay,
it.
we appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
We love it.
But we appreciate you being able to sort of come on board and jump in and look, mate, everyone out there watching, we appreciate you guys too. It's been awesome to be able to sort of, first of all, get involved with that guy. No, with that guy. It's hard. With cameras and me. I mean, God, look at the face. So, but it's awesome to be involved and sort of like you, Joe, sort of chat to just guys that you've idolized for years. So,
yeah, I mean, that was a real treat. I so appreciate that. It's amazing. And there he is.
Face froze again.
Oh my God. Yeah, but that's what the world's about, man. Making connections, and I met Jason, man. It was insane. He's such an amazing guy, just genuine, honest, like I've known him for years, man. It was really easy to talk to him. He's really cool, you know.
Yeah, that's Jason. He's just
same with you. I get the same vibe.
Yeah.
So
thanks, man. Thanks, Joe.
Dave and I have been brothers in arms for a long time, mate. That's why I wanted him on the show. You know, he's not as like in your face as I am, but like he's a champion, and he loves his music, and he's a fucking good drummer. No matter how much he tries to play it down, he's an. Dave, shut up. He's a great drummer. One day he's going to stop bagging himself.
No, I never will, mate. I'm humble, and I'm going to stay humble, mate. So
I agree. It's a good thing. So,
absolutely. Oh, he's frozen again.
Oh my God! Is he tricking us?
No,
okay.
He's not breathing. He's not breathing. He's just stopped at that point and gone, "Yep, I'm done."
He's gonna have another ridiculous watch. What's gonna? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hold it because I heard you saying it was going to be ridiculous. I'm going to get the flock out of here, guys. Bye-bye to everybody watching the stream out there. Thank you very much. And Mickey Settlemyer, I don't know why the hell you are driving and what the story is behind that, but you can tell me another time. We'll have to get you on the show too, Mickey. Simon, Educated Tone, thank you. Thomas, thank you. Everyone else who was here earlier, if you happen to come back and watch Johnny Bean Show, I wouldn't be doing this live stream if it wasn't for the Johnny Bean Show. So if you want more entertainment of live chats on YouTube, please watch.
Damn. No, he's not frozen. He's typing this time. No, he's frozen.
You know, it's funny. You froze on 222202 on my phone. It's a good number. Go play pick 5 if you got that over there. Here he comes.
There we go. He's loving his modem right now.
No, really not. It's annoying. But anyway, so please watch the Johnny Bean Show if you're looking for another show to. Oh, what the hell? It didn't do. Hang on, having trouble reconnecting the internet.
Yeah, you're still here, mate. We can see you.
Yeah, but can you see the comment that I left about the name Johnny Bean TV?
It's definitely on YouTube, mate. So Johnny Bean
Great,
TV.
excellent.
Only twice,
yes.
so
check out Johnny Bean TV because if you want a live chat show, it's thanks to Johnny that I even do this. So there you go. All right. We're out of here. Broadcast is ending in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ciao, man.
See you later. And he's paused on one.
Are you kidding me?